Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the esteemed FaceTime with Leaders, an initiative by World Development Corporation. My name is Tanay Hall, and I'm an anchor at World Development Corporation. FaceTime with Leaders is a platform for industry veterans to come together to share their knowledge, ideas, thoughts, and best practices with one another, as well as with upcoming industry leaders. In a nutshell, we attempt to encapsulate the multi decadal learnings of all our industry stalwarts. We hope that by conducting these FaceTime with Leader interviews, we can bring together a global community of eminent personalities. By bringing together such visionaries on one platform, we hope to play a part in inspiring the lives of other great leaders, as great learnings from great leaders undoubtedly assist everyone, right? They help us to identify, nurture, and work on trade secrets that have already proven a success formula for so many. And this is what we aim for with these sessions by making them a gathering of industry stalwarts and a knowledge sharing community. We have one such industry heavyweight on FaceTime with Leaders with us today, Mr. Madhusudana Rao. He is a technical services manager with a distinguished career spanning over 1.5 decades. With an acute understanding of intricacies of technical services management, he has consistently demonstrated his proficiency in navigating complex project needs while upholding a stellar compliance record. His career trajectory is marked by a series of significant roles where he has left an indelible mark through his strategic insights and hands on approach. His tenure at Hybrid Services Technologies, a subset of IBM India Private Limited, has seen him spearhead the design and implementation of application performance monitoring systems, enhancing the efficiency and reliability of production environments. So, sir, to begin with, could you let our viewers know in brief about your career journey so far?
Absolutely, Tanay. Thank you for having me. So my career journey has been both fulfilling and diverse, spanning over several years in the technology sector, as you have given me in the introduction. So I began my career with Unix system administration for one of the telecom giant in Australia. So which involved supporting their technical infrastructure, server infrastructure mainly, which is the core infrastructure for them. Like because that time the telecom sector was it was really at an aggressive pace
Yeah.
when you really understand the Airtel, Vodafone, all such big players were there. So we are exactly at that point of time we are supporting the core infrastructure, and that's how I started my career with the crucial operating system which is called as Unix, and the beauty of the Unix. So that is my foundational experience, as you can say, which really honed my technical skills and instilled a deep understanding of the practical applications, like how so till that time you will be learning various technical the subjects or whatever it is which is involved in information technology. So this foundational step which I worked with the telecom domain really gave me a deep understanding on how the practical applications of these technologies will be taking place in solving the real world problems, you can say that. And after that, if you see, I progressed from there by changing the various tools. So what happens is in the technical the technology domain, as you know that every day there will be an evolving technology which comes up. And we are I am at a certain level where I used to embrace each and every technology which company demands, because that's how exactly the company grows up, right? And if you see, as I progressed from there, I took on leadership roles as well after a certain experience which I gained, and moving into a project management roles, and then into a strategic planning. So the transition was driven with my interest in various technical aspects, also in how the technology can be leveraged for whatever the problems this this particular domains with respect to the growth and transformation of these clients which are approaching to us. And I have a privilege of leading the talented teams as I grown towards the leadership roles. And then I'm challenging them through the challenging projects, and achieving significant milestones, because each and every project will have certain milestone in an organization, and we are able to achieve it with the help of these talented teams. And I used to have the privilege of leading such talented teams. And in the most recent years, if you see in my career, I have focused on digital transformation initiatives, especially helping organizations navigate through the complexities of integrating with the new technologies. So if you just ask me an example, there are many companies, if you take down the line like 5 years or 6 years back, so from the conventional environment, like the physical server infrastructure, and they want to migrate to the cloud, infrastructure. So that is one of the digital transformation as a step one. Many companies have done, the digital transformation initiatives. So I used to help the organizations in this particular transformation journey for them. Uh, the transformation is not that easy. Okay, so we have to navigate them through various complexities and making them understand, convince them, and how to integrate to the new technologies, how it will help to their existing ecosystems, because every company will have their own ecosystem.
Yeah.
That ecosystem should not get disturbed by getting transformed into the new digital transformation. So we have to convince them, and how this digital transformation of integrating will not disturb your existing ecosystem, and that's how exactly the customers will get transformed, right? And my role often has been involved in this journey. Usually what happens is I work closely with stakeholders across all levels at an organization, ensuring that the digital technology adaptation aligns to the strategic business objectives. So this is one thing which I can say from my side. And throughout my journey, if you see, I have been passionate about continuous learning. So this is one of the key factor which made me, still, I'm able to survive in the existing aggressive evolved
Yeah.
market, and innovative capabilities which I have. So whether it's adapting to the, the latest technology trends. So we have to continuously upgrade ourselves, upskill ourselves, like if you say that, exploring the various business models. If whenever a new technology comes, the business model will get transformed into that particular technology. So I have to upskill myself, and then I have believed in the importance of staying ahead, especially when this transformation curve is going on. So this kind of mindset has been instrumental in my career. If you see, my entire career is with a continuous learning, you can say, and allowing me to make a meaningful contributions to the organizations which I have worked with so far. And in summary, if you see, my career has is a blend of technical expertise, leadership, and a strategic vision, you can say, which really helps the organizations, aiming high at leveraging the technologies, for their continuous progress. So this is what I can say from my side.
I'm sorry. So, in the technical domain, a highly demanding field, you have delivered stellar results with all the firms you have worked for. What are your secrets to self motivation?
Yeah. So, see, I can say one thing, like, maintaining self motivation indeed is a key component. If you really ask, in the current, the delivering, especially in this current, the customer's environment, you can say in the business models, you have to consistently, I can use my word as consistently deliver high quality, results you have to deliver to the clients. So, self motivation is the main, thing which we have to develop, especially in this rapid, developing world, especially. And these are one of the several core principles, you can say, and practices which we generally see. Self motivation is a small word, I can say, but it has a combination of several core principles. And you can say that there are certain practices which we generally keep in, right, which has guided, which will help us in guiding us, giving an ability to stay motivated and get effective, right? So firstly, I can say that a deep understanding of the technology. So if you don't understand, if you don't have a deep understanding on the technology, you will not gain the potential to solve the complex problems what the business is expecting you to do. And that is one of the fundamental driver to me, since I have a deep passion into the technology, which really helped me in going through these things, which really this particular passion, you can say, understanding the deep technology is the fuel, and my curiosity and the eagerness, you can say, continuously the curiosity and eagerness has to be in continuous mode. And overcoming the challenges, especially in this journey, overcoming the challenges, and see, um, asking the business to adapt to the new technology. Also, we have to assess the risk of what is going to be there, how it is going to affect their existing customer base. And so that actually keep me motivated. So talking to the customers, convincing them how these technical solutions will help your customer base to increase, or user rich experience how they can gain. And secondly, setting up a clear achievable goals, and that has been one of the crucial, what you can say, having a short-term objectives and having a long-term objectives, how to achieve that. And so we have to create a roadmap, a short roadmap. See, for each goals, you have to set up a roadmap. You can say that how we have to achieve that, and keep focused without diverting our attention, and being directed, proper directed. And then celebrating the victories along with the customers, when we are able to do this kind of a journey for them, we have to celebrate the success along with them. And these are the certain core principles which make me progress continuously and bring the particular the momentum, to keep us in momentum. So another one is like the key important factor where everybody now has to have the key factor right now is, because if you see, the technology is rapidly evolving. Like every 1 week you see one new technology. So that is something, the key factor, what I can say is like embracing the new technologies and the challenges which is happening in the technology. And the challenges cannot be the roadblocks. So you
Yeah.
have to you know uh, you have to understand them, and try to bring in opportunities using this technology. How can we innovate and grow the existing business model? So this is one thing, that is one of the key factor, what you can say. Whenever the new technology comes, I am ready to get adapt to it by learning it. And then approaching the new problem. See what happens when you adapt to the new technology, you will get a new problem, obviously, because each and every software will have its own pros and cons. So how to approach the new problems and how to solve with the positive mindset and that problem solving attitude. Since I started my journey with being supporting the technical support role, so always we used to have that problem solving attitude. It's not
Yes.
something is coming as a roadblock. So these are the instrumental things which keep me motivated. And then obviously the third or fourth factor, you can say, the time management especially, and work life balance. So to keep up into this rapid pace of increasing technology or evolving technology, you should have the work life balance as important, because then only your mind will be active and
Yeah.
adaptation, because work life balance is so vital. So I used to balance these things. If you really ask me, the time management, work life balance, which are very vital factors for any you can say that upcoming leader. And the intensity of the domain, it's so important to manage one's time effectiveness, prioritize the task which really business needs to prioritize the task, and ensure you can give rest of the time for your personal interests or something like that. This is how being developing my personal well-being to keep me active into this. This is something like, you can say, this sustains my self motivation as well, keeping me active enough. And I myself surround with a network of you can say supportive friends, supportive colleagues, which mentors me with a lot of valuable insights. And I keep reading the books, and so that it helps me in understanding certain management things. Like, see
Yeah.
what happens in this rapid evolving the technologies. Like, there are sometimes where there are certain books which gives an insights, how to manage the leadership, even though when the evolving technology is getting rapidly inside. There are certain source of inspirations, encouragement, listening to a lot of podcasts, you can say, so that we get some new ideas, and learning from others, sharing knowledge contributes a sense of fulfillment, you can say that. So these are various things, what you can say, to keep us self motivated. That's what I can say myself from a technical domain. And embracing challenges, goal setting, deep understanding, passion towards the technology, maintaining work life balance, and having and fostering support to community, you can say. So
Yeah.
these are the secrets, you can say. Yeah.
Yes, sir. So now going to the next question, which is how and when did you develop an interest in ESG and corporate governance?
Yeah, so this is an interesting question. Okay, so in my journey, if you really see that, um, when I'm progressing through the leadership, the roles. So I understand, as a company, every company will have certain values. Every company will have their knowledge, and every company will have their certain experience. And the company values, whichever when we are working with a company, the company values, you have to adapt towards the company values, which are having certain ethical standards and everything. So generally, if you really understand any company or whatever it is, like, see, every company will have their the key factors. What I can say is, uh, innovation, integrity, and impact. So what this innovation is going to create an impact into the community or the society, you can say, and mainly the integrity. So at the heart, any company, being a corporate company, they will have a certain ethical standards, in all aspects of their work,
Yes, sir.
advocating transparency, or you can say accountability, what they are having, and fairness in, whatever, they have to, give to the customer. So that is something. The commitment of integrity, which ensures the organizations, which I generally observed, in the companies. So how they put a lot of efforts to maintain these standards, especially these three key factors, right? So innovation generally needs a lot of research and impact. So how it creates an impact, a positive impact on the society. So this needs a lot of, this needs a lot of effort from the company by following their ethical standards. At the same time, they have to follow a lot of regulations. Market regulations will be there, compliance regulations will be there, and a lot of and they have to put a lot of efforts in building a trust with the customers, stakeholders, especially including investors, I can say. So uh, I can just give a small set of example, maybe, if you allow me. Like, see, and as an innovator, I have an idea, but again, as a bootstrapping, I can get some fund. But again, if I want to penetrate the product into the market, I need certain investor. So what happens with my idea? The investor idea will also drive me towards that. So if the investor idea and my idea is getting aligned, then that will be a successful factor. But if investor is driving me into a different aspect, so this idea will get, you know, away from that. So this is what generally what I understand. And then, so as I said, that integrity, which includes investors, especially employees who are working on the ground, and the communities what they serve. So this is one thing. And then you can ask me about the innovation. So every company, if you really see, if you ask me the business model nowadays, earlier, in the olden days, I have never seen this. Now if you see, every business is coming with a concept called as USP, unique selling point. So which means they have to innovate themselves, right? So they have to see the gap. So what is really useful for the society? And then so there are a lot of new methods and methodologies coming into the business models. So nowadays, if you see any small startup company, they come up with an USP. Without USP, no business is entertained, because it will be like a stereotype business. So all this generally really inspired me towards this. So how a corporate company was. See, generally what happens when you are at a technical level, or engineering background, or you are at a technical leader perspective, so there is a certain layer where every company will have at a certain layer, like, see, in a director level, how much of efforts they generally, the directors keep in visioning the company. So all this generally they don't we don't understand. So that really inspired me, how they are able to run the company. Say there are many companies around the globe which runs more than for 100 years. So what is making them, even though these many challenges they have in the technology, what is making them sustain in the market? So that really inspired me, and that bring me to the point as continuous innovation. What they generally do is to stay ahead in the market, so they generally do a continuous innovation. And then they bring a mindset of innovation into the employees, constantly identifying them, whatever the new set of solutions and practices they bring. So they try to adapt into their product domain, and how exactly it is going to give a positive impact on the environment. Environment in the sense, it's not about the nature. Again, the company social, whatever that employee environment. So this includes, and leveraging, how that companies are leveraging new technologies and data analytics nowadays. The data nowadays, if you see, everybody is saying, the data war is going on. So data analytics is much more, and which is very important, and creative strategies especially, and to address certain complex sustainability issues. So nowadays, business sustainability is the main core for any strong business, even though we have seen many successful business which are getting failed. So that is one of the complex sustainability thing. So which makes them, if they are continuously innovating themselves, so they can definitely, cope up with this particular complex sustainability issue. So that is one thing which I can say from the innovation. And then impact. So overall, after this innovation, how this is going to create a tangible and positive impact onto the the society or environment or whatever it is. So you can say that how they can reduce the carbon emissions, enhancing how they can enhance the diversity, or the various inclusion factors, or how to bring the robust governance structures, all these things. So
Yeah.
you can say that why it created an interest is because when I started working with an Unix administration, I used to work in a data center where I used to work with 4 degrees centigrade, chilled environment where the servers will be there. And the moment we go outside, we can see the excretion of the heat which is generating from the centralized AC control mechanism. So which we used to see that to maintain that much temperature, they are excreting the heat this much outside. So all these, like small things which used to piled up. So definitely that's going to be a climate risk management, and a small social initiatives. I used to participate in small social initiatives, which is from the company side, you can say that from the corporate sector side. And then so how to maintain the ethical practices, even though how to balance the environment, that is something from the ESG point of view. And being a resident of Bangalore, you can say that. So this is which I have to bring in. How ESG attracted me is, see, generally every city faces water crisis. So I have an experience of working, in the society as a society president, and then so it's a society of 250 apartments, you can say. And even now I'm working. So we used to bring a small social initiatives, which really helped us in bringing a lot of drastical changes, both economically and environmentally. So this is one thing which you can say why my journey is attracted towards ESG. And since I'm working in a corporate, company, how the corporate governance generally works here, and so what are the regulations we have to follow. So if you don't follow the regulations, what impact it is going to create to the companies, the name what it has is
Yeah.
so all these things. So bridging, you can say all these things, how the decision making the companies will do by bringing this ESG and the corporate governance principles, what collaboration they are going to give with the stakeholder management. So there are certain things. So these are the things what really attracted me, because since I worked with certain NGOs also, so that's how my interest towards this ESG has been, improved, and even the
Yeah.
corporate.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
So, as an ESG and corporate governance expert, what values do you bring to the table?
So, as I mentioned that, so if you ask me, as a ESG and corporate governance, so I'll just tell my journey along with what I have with the Directors Academy. So earlier, as you seen my my continuous career profile, so I was with the continuous technology. Even though I am going with the leadership roles, I was continuously in the touch of technology. So when I joined the Directors Academy after attending the webinar of Havel Mehta sir and Jishan Patan, it really attracted me. Oh, this is what exactly I'm looking into right now. And then the moment I went through the modules, really asking me, it really all the modules are thought provoking. Okay, so these many companies, big companies which are listed in the Forbes magazine, now they are completely, their share is completely down, and they are, you can say, from a star to zero. That's how, there are many companies which happen, right? And in this journey, when I'm going through these modules, especially, it gave me a lot of case studies which they had given me an example of the case studies. When I'm going through that, what happened to these investors money? Like, as a shareholder, I just invested in some company and my money is gone. So just because of the company's bad performance or whatever, like a small, I cannot say it's a kind of a foolish step what they take. They just want to trial a experiment with a different step altogether, which are not into their core values. So see, for example, a company started with a core, a business model which really helped them in success. So when they achieve the profit, they want to experiment a different step, which really, drastically, bring down the company. So the shareholders' money has been gone down. So all the case studies, wherever I see, if you see the primary impact, right, the shareholders are getting impact. So what I felt is, see, as an independent director, so since, as an independent, how to achieve that particular things, like, see, how can we protect the shareholders, the minority shareholders money or whatever it is. So these are the things. And then if you really ask me from the ESG side, they both are interrelated. As per me, they both are interrelated. I'll just give an example. So, the electricity boards, especially in the cities, right? So I mean, even though we have a lot of technologies right now available, the IoT or the artificial intelligence or whatever the latest technologies. So many of the governments, especially the government sectors, they don't adapt to these new technologies, and they keep still relying on the manual kind of methods, which are like generally delay certain things, and waste of labor and lot of efforts they have to put in. So why I generally think in such a way that, since I have gone through these kind of modules, very thought provoking modules, and after studying these many study cases and all, I will try myself approaching the authorities, and then I'll try to bring in, like, why don't you just adapt and then help in. Since I'm having a technical background, I can understand what challenges they face. Generally, they need an upskillment. Generally, if you see, they don't skill themselves like the way we
Yeah.
are there in corporate companies and all. So we need to find a way for them and then adapt, our technical leverage these technologies into that, and try to help the, the you can say that the bodies, government bodies, you can say that. So these are the few things which I am trying to bring in the change. See,
Yeah.
corporate companies will always have their third party agencies which they generally help. An exclusive framework will be there for them, a robust framework will be there for them. So even though we generally give our valuable inputs, but again, there are a lot of experts which can help them. So there are a lot of gray areas which I see in the current environment. See, there are a lot of gray areas. We always focus only on the technical related companies. We don't focus on certain companies where there are a lot of gray areas, which I am thinking that we have to bring some change in them. So that is one thing which I generally think from my side.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So, how do you ensure to keep up with the changing technological landscape and integrating prospective newer technologies into your professional chores?
Okay, so you mean to say that, yeah. Um, so can you please repeat?
Yeah. So, how do you ensure to keep up with the changing technological landscape and integrating prospective newer technologies into your professional chores?
Yeah, as I mentioned, we need to have a strategic and positive mindset, first of all, to embrace these new
Yeah.
technologies. And then the first key factor I can say is the continuous learning. So you have to dedicate the time towards the new technology which is coming up and bringing a revolution. I'll just take an example as a chat GPT. So chat GPT, till chat GPT, see, the generative AI methodologies is already been there for many years.
Yeah.
So which is not came into live. Okay, so as an internal, so when I'm working with an IBM, I have I was involved into a project called as system operations lights out. They used to call it as silo. So the system operations lights out is nothing but used to have these call centers, L1 support teams, L2 support teams. So they just want to adapt a technology. They want to transform from these L1 L2 kind of support roles. And so I got involved as a kind of the project manager there to drive this project from particular the domain which I am working in. So what happens here is there are thousands of employees who are working in this, this particular operations, L1 and L2 operations. So balancing them. So what we have to do, it's not that a company has to simply fire them. No, we are closing this L1 and L2. It's not the question. So what we used to, think is like we developed a framework. So first we have to upskill this staff from L1, L2 to the L3. And then slowly we have transformed that particular positions with the technology. So what happens is, here what I'm going to say is, like, so the continuous learning, and then you have to dedicate a time. So this is one thing which I can say, going through the online webinars or courses. Nowadays online courses are available, and reading industry expectations especially, and the commitment, the commitment towards the learning, continuous learning, will help you to stay informed about the new methodologies or the new trends, what companies are expecting from you, everything. And then another thing, which is really important for any individual, is like they have to develop a networking, and they have to engage into the community, especially community engagement, you can say. And they have to collaborate with the technical teams, especially collaboration with the technical teams is the most important. So
Yeah.
networking is also very crucial things. They should be actively involved in online technical forums, especially there are a lot of online technical forums. and then technical communities you have sharing their ideas, taking any new ideas which they would have experienced or we have not explored. So any practical use cases what they have, which really helps in the existing work. And then collaboration with the technical teams. So you have to work with your technical teams when you're trying to transform or you are trying to bring any new technology. You have to work very closely with the the technical teams, in your organization especially, which help this organization to adapt to that. So when there is no collaboration, and the company cannot achieve towards what adaptation they're trying to look into it. And then so when you are adapting towards the new technology, any company blindly doesn't go and adapt to the new technology. So generally they form into a small, you can say, in the boards, the form small team, audit committee, stakeholder committee, like the way the same thing they will apply in the technical the companies as well. Like they will do some kind of a pilot projects or
Yeah.
experimentation thing. How this integration is really helping, is this really disturbing the existing framework or the architecture what they develop all these years. So how the potential impact is there on that, is this really adapting to our existing framework or not? So these are the few things which generally we have to do. And
Yeah.
obviously once you do this experimentation, you need to retrospect it, like with the feedbacks especially, and then what metrics it has really achieved. So as I said, that silo is one of the best project what I can say. What metrics it has achieved is it has saved a lot of manual hours, so which achieved some kind of profit to the company, because all these L1 L2 operators, so thousands of L1 L2 operators, we have adapted this technology and a lot of revenue generation has been done to the company. So these are the few things. So what you have to
Yeah.
take the feedback and the metrics, how it is there, and how you're adapted to strategy. And at the same time, when the new technology comes, as you can say that it always, when new technology comes, it always brings some kind of new risks. So these
Exactly.
new risks, how you have to prioritize understanding and how to mitigate this, especially with respect to nowadays, if you see, everybody is talking about cybersecurity and data privacy, right? So there are a lot of debates going on the cybersecurity and data privacy. So this new technology, whatever you are bringing into the business or bringing into the organization, so these are the two key factors what they generally look at that, right? So cybersecurity, whether this particular tool is having a highest level of cyber security, and how the data is getting saved, especially the data means the personal data and the company data, whatever the business data they have. So technological advancements are really useful for the companies to grow their business. At the same time,
Mm.
they generally get exposed to the unseen vulnerabilities, right? So you have to manage both the things. So that is one thing where you can say the technical risk management teams generally analyze the things by doing this experimentation and pilot projects. So a combination of all these, active learning, active or continuous learning, you can say active engagement, a risk management, these are the factors which really helps you to in
Yes, sir.
this now keep up with the rigorous evaluation, you can say.
As someone working closely with technology, what are some of the most remarkable changes you have seen in your field with respect to changes in technology? And what changes do you expect to see in the future with the advent of all these new technologies like AI, ML, blockchain, big data, digital twin, Web 3.0, etc.?
Yeah. As you see that in the initial stages of my profile briefing itself, as I told you, I started working as an Unix administrator on the traditional server environment, in a 4 degrees chilled environment. So you can say that that time we used to have 4,000 servers in a floor. So we used to work in that. So drastically, if you see that complete environment, whatever the physical environment we are saying, it has been transformed completely into cloud. So this is the first basic step I can say, which really bring a digital revolution in the in the industry currently. So the complete shift of on-prem environment infrastructure towards a cloud virtual environment completely. So that is one thing you can say, the cloud computing environment. And we, as an if you say that, especially if you see in my career, I started with a digital technology, which you can say that, the era of computers, you know and slowly that era has been transformed into a virtual environment. So a computers with a physical environment has been transformed slowly into a virtual environment, which is nothing but a cloud. A lot of virtualizations like VMware, that time Citrix. So there are new lot of new providers which used to come into that space. We used to upskill ourselves. So because see, we have to embrace the new technology. Every
Yeah.
customer is asking you to go into that. So that is about the cloud computing, because it has its own powerful processing environment, capabilities. So that's how the all the your on-prem, which is used to generate lot of feed, that much of on-prem infrastructure we have transformed into the cloud technology. That is the rise of a revolution, what I can say. And then if you see after that, after this virtual environment has been completely penetrating into the market, then slowly the robustness of the application. So till that time, the applications used to get developed with a robust code where you cannot access from your mobile phones. So all of a sudden, when this cloud computing is parallelly getting developed, and Android applications, Android operating systems, so lighter weight operating systems, you can say till that time Unix, Windows, iOS, all these are like you can install only that OS on certain a physical computer, you can say laptop. So when a lighter weight of operating systems came into picture, Android is the one which brought a revolution. So when the Android operating system got developed, the mobile computing started into the picture.
Hmm.
So you can say that an entire laptop, that much of features has been completely, you can say that brought into micro size level into your handset. So that is called as a smartphone, what we generally call it as. So once this lightweight operating system started bringing the revolution like Android, so the mobile computing has started very aggressively making the lives easier of many, you can say that the customers or business, and business model has been also changed. So and then you can say that artificial intelligence and ML, you can say that. So they both are in a combination. I cannot say that artificial intelligence, I cannot call it as an entity. Artificial intelligence is a superset where ML is a subset of it. So machine learning, machine learning term is there almost like 15-16 years back. It's not a new term. Okay, artificial intelligence is also not a new term. Only thing is, due to this continuous development of the technologies, especially when the open source has been started up, the codes, the code which is available to all the normal, talented resources, they have brought up a new technologies which really helped, the machine learning and artificial intelligence era into the new step. So which made possible. Earlier,
Yeah.
artificial intelligence is only up to the theoretical concepts, but now it is completely into our lives. So the continuous evolving of the technologies really helped this AI and ML to get into the market, and then into our lives as well, you can say. As I said that earlier, they are theoretical concepts. Now they are practical applications, you can see in your home. I just give an example. During the COVID time, we always used to have that oximeter. So that is one of the best basic device, I can say. One of the the device which really helped for many patients to see whether I am able to survive, or I am getting infected on. So these are very small applications in the healthcare, and then in finance you have, in customer service, and you have a lot of personalized experiences tools. Especially because of this continuous development of AI and ML. And then along with the technology, as I mentioned in my earlier point, so cyber security evolution is also started. So when the companies, especially the banks, when they started adapting towards these new technologies, they are the first, you can say that, they used to face the heavy load of, vulnerabilities, you can say. Especially banks used to face these challenges, masquerading their data, or, faking their, the cards or whatever. So as a technology, as an advanced technology, we have to look into these complexities. Even though it is a sophisticated technology, how this is not getting, how they should not go into vulnerable threats of cyber, hackers. And so when the cyber security threats has been drastically increased along with the technology, so that brought an opportunity to say that the development of the cyber security practices, and lot of tools, cyber security tools, are also parallelly getting developed to detect these threats and responding to them.
Yeah.
So yeah, and there are a lot of other changes like IoT integration. IoT integration, as you know, the basic IoT integration started with your geyser, which has that thermostat. Once it reaches to the temperature, it cuts off automatically. So that particular physical circuit has been connected to your smartphone. So these are all interdependent, as I said that. So once that is over, automatically it will switch off your this thing, and your biometric lights. Once motion detector lights, and biometric ACs. The moment you go into the conference room, that time itself it detects your the biometrics of your body, and then switches on the AC the moment you go out. So all these are, you can say, a part of an IoT integration. Okay,
Yeah.
because of the sensors. The sensors are talking to each other. So that is something. and you can say that the deep learning of ML, and then the blockchain technology, especially because if you see the cryptocurrency market, especially, right? So all these years, traditionally, you can say everybody used to go into the shareholder or the the trading platform and everything. So in between, if you see from the past 8 years, you can say that the cryptocurrencies, especially. So when the cryptocurrency boom has been started, a lot of trading used to happen there, and which exactly brought this blockchain, because to maintain the security there, because the cryptocurrency generally works in a kind of a decentralized mode. It's not a centralized, so you cannot detect from where the transaction is happening. So to enhance that, and to regulate that, you can say this blockchain technology came into the picture, especially. That's the reason, if you say, uh, if anytime you say blockchain, generally they relate the term cryptocurrency. Okay, because and this blockchain, what I heard from the recent developments is like they're going to enable into the voting systems, which really brings a very good technical advancement into the governments as well. So it will revolutionize.
Yeah.
And then so these are the few things.
Yeah. So we're building a community here of industry magnates. The move is meant for cross-pollination of knowledge and building a knowledge-sharing community of corporate giants and industry experts. What are your thoughts about this initiative taken by Mr. Zishan Pathan, Mr. Heval Mehta, and the whole World Development Corporation team?
See, firstly, I would like to really thank Jishan Patan and Havel Mehta, what the efforts they are putting in. As I told you that I myself, this particular, whatever the initiatives they are taking, it's bringing a lot of maturity into this, especially the professionals. See, what happens is like all these years, we used to work in a decentralized mode, frankly speaking, because the technical world is a different world, management world is a different world. So even though we used to have, the managers used to maintain us, but there is always a disconnect between these two, because as a technical engineer, he don't understand how exactly the business, vision will be there. Even though they used to do some mandatory trainings, this is how the business vision and all, they always used to have a gap. So the gap used to came because of the lack of maturity, what you can say, because as a technical leadership, you should always have the maturity of having a kind of uh, you can say that the management, the leadership management, the mature, if this is really been there, you can really understand the business model and you can really collaborate with anything. See, especially if you really ask me nowadays, if you see any company, even you take a corporate company, IT company, or any industries, the common framework what we used to have is like we used to have a director, the board of directors, a chairman, or whatever. So they used to have a committee. So this framework is common everywhere, which irrespective of the technology or irrespective of the domain you take, this framework is common. Board of directors will be there, audit committee will be there, stakeholder committee will be there, marketing committee, whatever it is, like. So but this framework is being common. So when the collaboration is being, as you said, that the collaboration ideas with a certain industry expert, so it really helps. See, now I am having a vast technical experience. What I am thinking, so what I feel is, even though the governments, the government bodies, especially, there are a lot of government bodies. What I feel from my side is they are not really adapting to the new technologies. So what happens generally is a frustration will come out from the users. Why can't they use the new technologies? When the private sector is using it, why can't the government, when they're having that much of cash definitely in their hand, why they don't adapt? So that collaboration, generally these kind of collaborations really helps, because see, as a government companies, they have their own, because of the lack of understanding of the continuous evolving technologies, or you can say their ignorance, I can say, and a lot of political influences, you can say. So collaborations, especially with the kind of, really helps them by giving an assurance that we will really transform you into this new adapting technology, which really helps your economy to be improved and really helps the citizens to improve their experience, whatever the negative experience they are having with the traditional old conventional websites they have, into the new mode, user rich experience, you can say. Even today, as I can say, I certainly paid certain utility bills by logging into their government websites. Their websites generally don't adapt to the mobile screens, so it's still under progress. So these are the few things. I mean, this collaboration really helps in bringing a lot of drastical changes. And since India is a continuous evolving technical country, technically they are evolving, and culture rich company, and these collaborations are really important for us, especially from the thing.
Great, sir. It was fantastic conversing with you, and I'm confident that your insights will truly inspire future leaders. Thank you so much for joining us today, sir, and wish you the best for your future endeavors. Moreover, trust that this initiative by Directors Institute unquestionably has expanded the participants' understanding and enriched their minds. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Tanay. Thank you.
Have a
nice
great day.
Thank you.